somebody like a Brandon Spector? Where's he at?
Speck was a guy that we purposely held that red shirt, but he was a guy that because we had depth last year and we didn't want to burn that year, but he flashed last year. So he's a guy that we're counting on, and the good thing for him is he's so versatile. He's not truly a true slot body. So he's big enough to go play outside, and then he has the strength and the quickness to be able to play all three positions for us. So as we go forward, we're going to need all those guys because we might not have just the total number of guys, but we're going to have good quality depth.
We heard a lot about Ngata last year, but what do we need to know about Frank Ladson, and what are you guys looking for in that competition as they look to kind of separate?
With Frank, he's a guy that just in our building has drawn some comparisons to Martavis Bryant, just because he's so big and so fast. He's a guy that's got that Sammy type of explosiveness. Probably maybe not quite Sammy, but he's got some really, really good explosiveness, and he got some jets. And I think what happened to him last year is just, like any typical freshman. Like you get down toward the end of the season and that monkey jumps on your back and you're just kind of, let me get to next year. But now he understands, having gone through the season, what it's going to take this offseason. And so now you're just seeing, what I'm seeing, just the things that I notice are just little things. The way he walks around the building now, he's got his head up, he's got his chest out, and he'll engage more, where he was really, really quiet, just because he was trying to figure things out. But now we got a little thing where me and him will joke back and forth, and I can just tell that his confidence is building. So we're going to need that, because you're going to need all those guys to be ready to go. And then, the big challenge for all those guys is to be able to be multiple. Don't just be locked into playing one position, being able to play all different positions so that we can have multiple lineups. And I think that what we've learned over the last couple of years is when we can get multiple lineups and put guys in specific spots that can function, we can create some major matchup problems.
Speaking of Martavis, Coach Sweeney was saying that EJ can really fly too.
Yeah.
Is he even faster than he expected to be coming in?
And for me, yes, because Jeff was handling that. Him and Coach Bates were down there, doing majority of the recruiting. And during camp, you guys may get to see him, but they keep me up on the field with the running backs, and we don't get to see much of the fun stuff. We go over there and do pass blocking, or they all do one-on-ones and stuff. So I didn't have a chance to see him, but other than tape. So it's hard to tell until you see him. But he's very, very fluid, very bendy. He's got that sudden change of direction, very similar to Ross. And like I said, I think he might just be a little bit more, top end faster than Ross. So excited about him in his future.
When August rolls around, you'll have 7 running backs in the room with Wrench.
Right.
So two-part question. Are you seeing any urgency out of Malusi and Dukes?
Oh, yeah.
Knowing that hey, more's coming.
Oh, yeah.
And then how do you handle that, considering you run football and 7 guys?
Right, exactly. And I don't know if it's some more of the guys that are coming behind him, but with Travis being back, they all want their touches. This is what I told him, and Coach used a great analogy. Whenever you go to the fish pond to go feed the fish, you got the pellets, but there's not enough pellets for every fish in the pond. Right, you drop the pellets and whoever gets to the top. So I said, fellas, don't worry about how many reps, just worry about the quality of your reps, And we've proven over the years that we're going to play 4 or 5 guys, and we'll try to get you opportunities. So just go compete, and you never know. You never know. You're one snap away from. And the biggest thing for me is have them ready to play, but then also get more production out of them on special teams too. I think they can really, really, really impact. And again, there's very, very high expectations for these freshmen, and I told them you need to come in and be ready to play. All right, but if I'm doing my job as a coach, what I tell these guys in recruiting, I should have guys that are ready to play ahead of young guys coming in, and then bring the young guys along.
Do you think there'll be any turnover there, or do you feel like most of those guys are?
As of right now, I don't foresee it. I think we kind of got through that window where there might have been some. I think that all those guys, and I told them, I said, look, the biggest thing is I can't tell you what to do, but I know if you were my son, I'd tell you to stick there and fight it out, especially you younger guys early in your career. And just see what happens, because there's lessons to be learned in competing.
You were in the room with Lynn J when Travis?
Yeah, I was actually, we were having a one-on-one meeting. His reaction was, I think he was hopeful, hopeful in a way, but not in a bad way. It's not nothing personal to Travis. They got a great relationship, but he was kind of hopeful that Travis was going to move on so that he could, naturally step into that. But we were getting on the same page about what my expectations are for him, where he is as a junior. He's no longer a sophomore, and expect how he's going to conduct himself on and off the field, and really just kind of getting on the same page. So he was kind of, I think he was taken aback, but then after he walked out and thought about it, he came back the next day with a smile on his face, ready to go.
When you're going back and watching that championship game back, sort of removed from the emotion of it, is there any sequence where you're like, man, you're kicking yourself for maybe something you wish you would have?
Probably just in the second half, got the ball in Travis's hands a little bit more. Maybe stick with the run game, but they got on fire and they were scoring, and we were trying to score fast, and we were up there, up 17-7. The biggest thing was not scoring. I think if we scored touchdowns on those early drives, I think that you might have been able to distance yourself to where now they go into panic mode. But when we were kicking field goals and not converting for touchdowns, that's probably the biggest thing there. And then there were a couple of just missed plays. We had a couple third downs that were batted. We had one screenplay. I think we were down. It was a one-score game. We had a screenplay out there to Travis. If we make that block, Travis is going to go score. So the biggest thing is scoring those early touchdowns, and then in the second half, just probably keeping the ball in our hands, putting together some drives, and then try to get it close in the fourth quarter.
Sorry, this was on the last, but have any of the newcomers on offense caught you out or impressed you?
Yeah, just all of them. As I said, in general, you could tell they're the right guys. I see why they were so highly ranked. Just physically. Now, for the offensive linemen up front, physically they've flashed, but mentally it's just been a challenge. They're thrown in there, with the second unit, and I know that last year there was a lot of talk about that D line, but now coming out here in the spring, it's a totally different group, and it's a big challenge, but it's gonna be good for them. But Sage Ennis, just his overall, aggressiveness and toughness. EJ, very fluid, very fast, and then DJ is as advertised in terms of his arm strength.
With Braden and now Amari fully healthy and Travis showing he can go out the backfield, is middle field maybe going to be utilized a little bit more?
I think that's an area where when you study us that we could do a better job of attacking it. But I think that every area of the field now, can be utilized. Where I think when you don't quite have the tight end that can stretch it, in our system, and then Amari not quite being, as full speed as we want him, and then so you lose some of your misdirection stuff. So I think we get all of those elements back, which is as I said before, it's we have a plan, but really whatever the defense is going to give us, we're going to take it.
So much was made about Ngata going into last year. What do you feel like he is mentally and physically ready this year?
I think he's progressing, just as we would hoped. Biggest thing is now they're moving around, and Grish is really challenging those guys to cross train, right? But as we get closer to season, so to speak, we'll start narrowing those guys into where they'll start, and then build the flexibility. But right now, he's made play, had a couple big plays out here today, so I'm pleased with where he is.